Wow, I found, wow, this is interesting. I found some very interesting stuff here. And it takes me time to process it because I don't want to be, just believe everything. There's a March 27th, 1890. But here's look, Ischia, where my roots, there's an 1880. Looks like it's in Italian. That's awesome. Ischia, California. So there's a September 12th. My mom's next to it with, look at that. For some reason, it has a prophet's birthday on a prophet's birth year next to the Ischia, the 1880. You go 2 down, there's a Maria. 2 down, it's got October 26, 1918. Let's see. So that is ski one. Okay, this has December 23, 1926. This also has the Ischia 1875 Holy Cross. It has the October 6th and October 7th, 1928, close to Ballard, one day with my grandfather's symbols. Next to that, you have a name that just happens to have my initials. AMI, August 4th, 1918, ordination. Kitty corner, there's the Vera behind it, right there. And then if you go through the Vera, it would hit this May 15th, which denotes priesthood of Aaron, 1870 with the November prophet, 1984. This is highly compelling. It would hit this September 12th with this September 8th, 1927. Let's see here. And then so this is the most strong one. It might. Whoa, are you serious? Look at this. Wow. Oh my goodness. I just found an Iacono right next to my strongest one. Vincenzo Iacono. Now, look at this. It's a November 1928. Elder Scott was born November 1928. This individual died at 39 years old. Look at the very next one. You got the Iacono. You have my November 7th. On the very day Elder Scott was born. So that's not just any November 7th. Now, look at this. The top day is about 7 days from the day Spencer W. Kimball was born, March 28th, 1895. Because it's an April 5th, next to Claudia's birthday, you get President Kimball's death symbol, November 5th. Right next to the Iacono. Wow, this is truly, wow. I'm stunned. A few down from that, you get a November 27th, 1928, 2 weeks after Scott was born. Again, that's with an Holy Cross Hospital symbol. It moved to its current block in 1883. Now look at this. Another November 1928. So Elder Scott again, except it's stamped with the president of the church's birthday. November 22nd, Heber J. Grant. So now he stamps November 7th, Apostles month and year, which is far stronger than a birthday, with a November prophet's birthday. November president of the church, Captain Joseph, as a captain. Wow, the history here. My goodness. What are the odds of the strongest one that I found? Look, November 22nd. Why is that November 7th apostles symbol stamped with the November 22nd? Italian. Why is this have the November 7th pattern? This brings to mind Doctrine and Covenants, section 85, given November 27th about the mighty and strong one, verses 7 and 8. My birthday is November 7th, 1980. Before you say, oh, these are 1928s, this one's not. Here's the Iacono. Look at that. Why is it right next? Look at that. Elder Scott's birthday. 7 days from Kimball's birth. With Kimball's death symbols, kitty corner. Marconi. That has the Aaron pattern as well as the MI. Compton. Says Compton. See, this is not 1928. Wow, this is not 1928, but look at this. Just a few down from that, you have Benson. 4 days from Benson's birthday. Arnold, as an Aaron derivative. Looks 1, 2, 3. Look at this. Who's he talking about here? Iacono, November 7th apostle. This is Marconi, has the Aaron MI derivative. I'm literally just stunned right now. Jose, it comes from the name Joseph. Benton. That's the first Iacono I've seen. And the second November 7th. And it's a special November 7th because it's Scott's very day, plus it just happens to be so close to Kimball's birth. November 1981. Let me just finish this row off. No more Iaconos. No more Iaconos. That is crazy. Only 2 November 7th apostles, 1900 and 1928. That just happens to be one of their very births, 7 days from a prophet's birth. April 5th, San Pedro. Is that a November 6th? Oh, November 5th. Mammy, AMI pattern. Califano. Look. Esquia. This is interesting. There seems to be a lot of Esquia, people from Esquia here. Let's see. Oh wow, look at this. 1901. Okay, let me go back before I get too discombobulated. Daryl. I got my patriarchal blessing on a 2004 pattern, July 2nd, 2004, from a Daryl. This makes me wonder, right? Some of these I can't read. That's like 4 or 5 days from Claudia's birth. Okay, let's go back there. Skia. Wow. I'm speechless. Let's go. Where's that November 7th? It's right here. It's right there. It just happened. There it is. Just happens to be next to an Iacono who also has a November 1928, representing a November 7th apostle. This is 1928, James B. Green. Let's look at these. January 24th, my daughter's, directly across from the Iacono. Let's see here. Another November 27th, 1926, directly across from this, or slightly diagonal. Elder Maxwell was born 1926, July 6th. That's got a November. He was called, Elder Maxwell was called from Holy Cross Hospital. Okay, there's that November 27th. I already searched that row. Very good. Let's, the Lord wanted me to find that. Just pure, I've barely searched any of the cemetery. So that's not coincidence. Let me just, I'm not gonna look at every grave. I'm just gonna see if I get lucky, find my great grandparents. All right, let's see here. Children of God. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Okay, boom, boom. Try to stay focused here. Okay, there's the November, there it is right there, and this is 1898, February 1981, Verona. Look at that. Look how close to Benson. Again, it's just a couple down from this stuff. The Compton. This person was born in Compton. Couple down from this, Mary Rose Murphy, the November 7th, 1928. Also, if you go kitty corner, you have an April 7th, which is an ordination symbol of, there's the Iacono. He died at 39. Okay, let's, Marconi, 2004. I'm probably related to him somehow if you go. Look at this. Look at this. And Aaron. Look. Wow. A prophet's birth symbol, July 19th. President Hinckley's ordination. William, it's got the I am pattern. Look, again, it's just next to a November 7th pattern with Brigham Young's birthday. And the November 1st, John Taylor's kitty corner. June 27th, you could say Joseph's death date. Look at this. April 3rd, Lorenzo's, with 1875, the day Holy Cross Hospital started in Salt Lake City. Let's go down here a little more. Let's see what we find. Wow. Look at this. A 1980 Jolene Rocha. And look, a September 7th, 1980. Same pattern, 2 months from my birth. Let's see if there's a pattern here. Look, a Holy Cross. That's the month. Holy Cross moved to its current block. November 6th with the 1940 Uchtdorf's two symbols. Let's go back here. Okay, so it's down a little ways from the Aaron, but let's look. Kitty corner from the Aaron, Ischia. Califano. Let's look at this real fast. Oh, look at that. April 7th, 1977. 3 days from Claudia's birth. The Aaron goes through the Ischia. And then through the Claudia's birth, basically, which is an ordination symbol of Woodruff. Yeah, it's pretty perfect. Let's just look at this real fast. Okay, nothing. September 12th. Okay, the September 12th, let's see. Next to the September 12th, you have a Scognamio AMI pattern. Let's back up here. Okay, there's the September 12th. Just take a note, that's all. Okay, here's a 1980 Kenneth, Eileen. Okay. Where's that? Let's see here. There it is right here. This one. 7, 1980. The Aaron's down there. So there's the Aaron on the corner. And the 7, 1980 is right there. Right over there. Okay, the Aaron on the corner by the flowers, the 7, 1980 over there. The Aaron's over there. Here's the Iacono. November 7th. I think Aaron is rare for a cemetery like this. An old, mostly Italian, some Spanish. Very old graves. So here's the 7. 1980 goes into another 1980. The stuff I already... Okay, there's the September 7th, 1980. The Aaron's at the end where the flowers are a little farther. Okay, there's the November 7th, 1928. There's the Iacono. Isn't that interesting? The Iacono is right next to a very apostle's birth. There's a 1980, which is almost kitty corner from the Iacono. It's that tall one. Here's the November 7th, 1928. Oh, it's got the Holy Cross. I think I already pointed that out. Which just happens to be across from a 1980. Literally. Which I believe that's there to reinforce the November 7th, 1980 in the Iacono. And the 1883, the Holy Cross Hospital symbol, the November 22nd, 1928. Bertolotti. Okay. And just really fast. Let's look at the Vera in relation, I think. So there's the Vera right there. So she would go through that, and then this May 15th, priesthood of Aaron on George Albert Smith's birth year, a prophet's birth year, and then a November prophet's birth year. So she would go through this. Her September 12th, my mom's. So let's just see this real fast. Okay, it hits the Iacono. It hits this one. I could get it to hit that too if I wanted to. The Aaron's right down there. The 1980s right there. Okay, now Catalina. That is so crazy. The only Iacono I've seen right next to an apostle's very birthday. And one of the closest dates to any president of the church. With the other one a few down, Benson's, 4 days. That's crazy. And I'm looking, I'm paying attention. 1926, 1974, 23, 93. Here's a November 17th, April 14th. Person lived, I think, 30 years. Look, no prophets' birthdays. There's a few apostles, like over there, Maxwell's again. Oh, here's a November 7th again. George Tucker. Next to a 1908 Isabella. November 6th. Look, how old was I? November 6th, 1987. I was 6. Kitty corner from that November 7th. Let me see what's... I don't want to get my shoes dirty. It's for another day, another time if it's meant to be. Leonardo. Salvador. So that November 7th, it's right here, George. Not sure if there's anything to it, but this video, I'll come back. The cemetery is special already. Salvatore, I don't think that's an icon. I know we have a Salvatore somewhere. Garcia, August 1951. Okay, no Iaconos. Here's a November 14th. Hunters on Monson's birth year with a November 1890. Switch the 8 and the 9. Wow, that's interesting. You have November 11th, 1980 symbols with a November prophet on Monson's birth year. Again, I'm curious. This is Italian Giuseppe. 2 days after Joseph Fielding was ordained. And where is that? Let's see here. There's the Vera. Here's the Ischia, 1875, the October 7th, 1928, Ischia, Italy. Joseph Smith's birthday on Elder Maxwell's, and then a few down that. Let's go down. Just look at these real fast. I'll bet that's one of the few errands. If not, this is not a cemetery with errands. Over there by the Iacono, on November 7th, 1928, the very day an apostle was born, next to Kimball's birth year in the 1980 pattern I saw on the other side. Let me see, Giuseppe. No Iacono. Assuming, it says he died in Italy but was buried here, which is a bit odd. Must have took money. There's a Sharon. Suarez.